Only 5% of seniors can do these 6 things. After 65, improve longevity and starting today. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to age in reverse? Doing things in their 65s and beyond that most of their peers gave up on years ago? The reality is, once we cross 65, only a small fraction of older adults manage to hold on to a special set of abilities, the kind that keep them moving with ease, thinking clearly, and living fully. But these folks aren't just lucky. They've built daily routines and lifestyle choices that help them stay stronger, more mentally agile, and far more independent than the average senior. In today's video, we're exploring 6 powerful traits, including one most people never talk about, that only around 5% of seniors in America still maintain after 65. These are the habits that contribute directly to their health, vitality, and even happiness. Whether it's preserving mobility, quick thinking, or emotional resilience, these aren't superpowers. They're skills you can absolutely develop too. So if you're watching this, maybe you already have some of these traits, or maybe you're ready to build them starting today. Stick around until the end, because the final habit we cover just might be the one that brings everything else together. Now let's dive in. Starting with number 1, staying mentally sharp and keeping your memory strong. Dorothy, a vibrant 78-year-old living in San Diego, still follows the same joyful routine every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. She grabs her canvas tote filled with children's books and heads to the local library, where she volunteers as a reading coach. But she's not just any volunteer. She's known as the Storytime Fairy, adored by every child who walks through those doors. What's truly remarkable is that Dorothy remembers each child's name, their favorite books, and even the smallest details. Who's scared of ghost stories and who loves tales about pirates? Reading with the kids sharpens my memory more than any puzzle ever could, she says. It keeps my mind wide awake. And it shows. In nearly 30 years, she has never once called the wrong name of one of her grandchildren, while many her age struggle to remember what day it is. Dorothy isn't one in a million. Across the country, more and more older adults are proving that memory loss doesn't have to come with aging, not if you actively train your brain. According to Harvard Health Publishing, seniors over 65 who regularly take on new skills, like learning an instrument, painting, or studying a new language, can improve short-term memory by up to 28% in just a few months. Our brains are wired for lifelong growth, but that only happens if we keep challenging them. When your mind settles into passive routines, your memory doesn't fade because of age. It fades because it's not being used. And when memory starts slipping, it doesn't just end with forgetting where you put your glasses. It spirals. You might hesitate to speak for fear of saying something wrong, slowly pull back from social gatherings because you can't keep up, then find yourself spending more time alone, in silence, until one day loneliness takes root. And with it comes real consequences for your heart, your brain, and your longevity. Dr. Lisa Geneva, neuroscientist at Harvard and best-selling author, says it best. We don't lose memory because we age. We lose it because we stop making ourselves remember. So no, the key isn't age, it's action. And the beautiful part is, you don't need a fancy brain scan or an expensive memory test. You just need the courage to try something new, one small step at a time. Learn a new recipe and memorize it without writing it down. Solve a crossword puzzle you used to skip. Tell your grandchild a vivid memory from your childhood, down to the smell of wood-fired stoves or the patched dress your mother wore. Or simply switch the hand you use to brush your teeth, so your brain is forced to adapt in small but powerful ways. These seemingly minor activities, they're some of the most effective natural ways to prevent Alzheimer's, and they're completely free. So how about you? When was the last time you learned something new? A word in English you've never used? A recipe from an old friend? Or maybe a game you once thought was just for the young? Leave a comment below and tell us, because what you choose to learn today might just inspire someone else tomorrow. And if this message resonated with you, please like this video, share it with a fellow senior, and subscribe to Golden Wise Elders, where every week we bring you tips, stories, and encouragement to help you live clearer, healthier, and more confidently with every new year of life. Maintaining physical mobility, the key to moving freely without help. Having a sharp mind helps you experience each moment with clarity. But to truly live life to the fullest, there's something else just as essential, the ability to walk, stand, and move on your own without relying on anyone to hold your hand. Because when your mind is clear but your legs are weak, your independence can quietly slip away. Let's talk about one of the rare abilities only about 5% of people over 70 still maintain. moving freely and confidently without assistance, and why that matters more than most realize. Take Mr. Paul, a 75-year-old from Des Moines, Iowa. Rain or shine, he still walks over a mile to his neighborhood grocery store. No cane, no mobility scooter, no one guiding his arm. One day, the cashier smiled and asked, "Want me to call you an Uber back, sir?" Paul chuckled. "No need. These legs still work, and I plan to keep them like the treasure they are." What surprises people most isn't just that he walks, it's how he walks. Steady, calm, balanced, not hurried, not hesitant. "I train my legs the way I train my mind," he says. "Use them every day or they'll walk away from you." This isn't rare luck, it's intentional living. Research from the University of Sydney shows that maintaining the ability to walk unassisted after age 70 is one of the strongest predictors of longevity and reduced hospitalization risk. If you can still stand up, sit down, bend over, climb stairs, and move around without pain or help, you're not just aging well, you're staying free. But this kind of mobility isn't given, it's chosen. Every day. On the other hand, when we lose our ability to move, we don't just lose physical function, we lose freedom, self-confidence, and dignity. Each difficult step, each time we need someone to help us stand, it chips away at how we see ourselves, especially if we've spent a lifetime taking pride in our independence. Dr. Karen Hayes, physical therapy expert at the University of Michigan, explains, "If you simply sit and stand from a chair 10 times a day, walk for 20 minutes, and stretch for just a few minutes, you're giving your legs a ticket to longer life." Yet many people over 70 are told to take it easy. They fear falling or worsening knee pain and slowly start doing less. But ironically, that lack of movement causes muscle loss, stiff joints, and makes every motion even harder. Meanwhile, people like Mr. Paul choose gentle but consistent challenges, brisk walking, taking stairs instead of elevators, and balancing on one foot while brushing their teeth. Mobility doesn't require a marathon. It's in the little things, things you can start at home. Today, standing from a chair without using your hands, reaching up for items on a high shelf, taking a lap around the house every hour. These simple habits, done consistently, can give your legs the strength to carry you for years to come. And remember, mobility isn't just about moving around. It's about preserving your independence, your dignity, and the belief that you're still in charge of your life. Now let me ask you, when was the last time you went for a walk? Just because you could? Can you still rise from your chair without holding onto the arms? If yes, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 2. Let us know, because acknowledging where you are is the first step to taking back your strength. And if you've ever sighed quietly after a difficult climb up the stairs, take this as your gentle nudge. Start again, slowly, consistently, with care. Because your next step could be the one that changes everything. Maintaining quick reflexes and coordination, the hidden key to preventing accidents in a split second. Let me share the third vital skill that keeps only a small percentage of older adults truly independent. Quick reflexes and solid hand-foot coordination. A powerful, often overlooked ability that could be the difference between a close call and a trip to the emergency room. If mental sharpness helps you think clearly and strong legs let you move freely, then reflexes and coordination are what keep you safe in the moments you never see coming. They're not just for athletes, they're life-saving tools, like catching your balance when you slip or saving that hot cup of coffee before it spills on your lap. Take the story of Mr. George, 76, who lives just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. One warm afternoon, he climbed onto a chair in his garage to change a light bulb, something his wife had warned him about time and again. "Let the handyman do it, George." But George is the kind of man who likes to handle things himself. As he reached up, his elbow brushed a nearby broom, which slipped and knocked the chair leg. It wobbled. In that moment, his body tilted forward. But in the blink of an eye, George reacted. Left foot braced, right hand against the wall, stopping the fall just in time. Just 1 second slower, and he might have landed in the hospital. So what gave George that lightning-fast response at 76? He says it's years of simple daily habits. Tossing a tennis ball against the garage wall, brushing his teeth while standing on one leg, and playing a reaction speed game on the iPad with his grandson. "It's my daily workout for a sharper brain and steady legs," he says, and science backs him up. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, over 36 million Americans aged 65 and older suffer falls each year, and more than 3 million require hospitalization, many due to slowed reflexes and poor balance. These falls don't just break bones, they break confidence, and often they lead to the loss of independence entirely. But there's hope. Researchers at Stanford University have shown that simple reaction training, like tracking moving objects, balance exercises, or responding to audio cues, can improve neurological response speed by 23% in just 8 weeks. That means you can become quicker, more stable, and significantly safer by investing just a few minutes a day into what George calls reflex and brain fitness. Don't think of fast reflexes as something only young people can have. Think of them as your invisible insurance policy, quietly protecting you every time you step off a curb, miss a stair, or reach to catch something mid-fall. And yes, you can train this at home, right now. Toss a small ball and catch it with your non-dominant hand. Balance on one foot for 30 seconds while pouring water. Take small, quick steps down the hallway like a fun agility drill. Remember, it's not age that makes us fall. It's letting our body forget how to stay upright. So how about you? Can you react fast enough if your phone slips out of your hand? What if your grandchild rushes towards you while you're holding a cup of hot tea? Share with us in the comments, what do you do daily to keep your reflexes sharp? And if this story reminded you of a moment you nearly lost your balance, or if it inspired you to stand up and start working on those quick reactions today, hit that like button, share this video with a friend who might be slowing down, and subscribe to Golden Wise Elders, because we're here with you every week, not just to live longer, but to live stronger, more agile and confidently. Even in our most golden years, a strong spine, the secret to standing tall in life, not just on your feet. Let's move on to the fourth powerful ability, keeping your spine healthy and pain-free. Because when your back is strong, you don't just stand taller, you stand more confidently in your life. Imagine this. You wake up to a beautiful morning. You start to get out of bed to make coffee, but a sharp pain shoots through your lower back. You grip the edge of the mattress, trying to slowly twist your body. Every movement feels like it's pulling against resistance. That cup of coffee tastes a little more bitter because you started your day with the weight of helplessness. If that's ever happened to you, you're not alone. But here's something we often forget. It's not age that causes back pain. It's years of poor posture, too much sitting, and neglecting the care your spine desperately needs. Mr. Joe, age 73, lives in the mountains of Colorado. For years, he relied on a cane due to chronic back pain. He believed this was just part of aging, something he had to accept. That was until he stumbled upon an online seminar hosted by a fitness doctor discussing the importance of core muscle training, specifically the muscles around the abdomen, lower back, and hips. Joe decided to try it. I started with just a 10-second plank, he says. Each morning I added a little more. After 3 weeks, I didn't need the cane. After 2 months, I was walking the trails behind my house. No breaks needed. There's no cane more valuable than a healthy spine, and no medication more powerful than a consistent daily routine. According to the American Chiropractic Association, over 80% of people age 65 plus suffer from chronic back pain. Yet in most cases, the pain can be greatly reduced by simply strengthening the right support muscles. Unfortunately, many only reach for painkillers, temporary numbing agents that don't fix the underlying issue. But did you know? Research from Boston University shows that just 10 minutes a day of hamstring stretching, hip mobility work, and gentle lower back movement can reduce the risk of recurring back pain by up to 55%. Back care isn't something you learn in a gym class. It's a decision you repeat every single day. Will you sit upright or slump into the shape of your pain? Consider Linda, 69, from Oregon. She worked as a secretary for over 4 decades. After retirement, her back became so stiff she couldn't even bend down to put on her shoes. Her doctor suggested surgery, but her daughter, a yoga instructor, encouraged her to try a week of light stretching instead. The result? Surgery wasn't needed. Now Linda puts on her shoes with ease and even bends down to pick up an apple from under the table like she's 30 again. So what about you? Is your back sending you subtle signals, tightness, stiffness, fatigue that you've been brushing off? Are you willing to dedicate just 10 minutes a day to reclaim years of pain-free movement, to sit, stand, bend, and walk on your own terms? Leave a comment below if you've battled back pain or discovered a stretch that works wonders for you. Your insight might be exactly what someone else in this community needs to hear. Keeping your joints healthy, living pain-free without relying on medication. Let's dive into the fifth powerful trait that helps seniors stay vibrant and independent, healthy, pain-free joints. There's something many older adults suffer from silently every day. They rarely talk about it and often accept it as just part of getting older. That something is joint pain. Knees, hips, shoulders, once fluid and light, now creak and ache with every bend and stretch like a negotiation with discomfort. But here's the truth. Joint pain is not your destiny. Take Marie, 74, from Orlando, Florida. She used to turn down invitations from her local pickleball group. "I was afraid I'd be laid up in bed for a week if I played just one game," she says with a half-hearted laugh. That all changed when her doctor recommended a few simple shifts: add omega-3s from salmon and flaxseed, cut back on sugar and refined carbs, and start gentle stretching each morning. "I didn't just return to the court," she said proudly at her next meetup. "I won my first set, and I haven't needed a pain pill since." Imagine walking up the stairs, tending your garden, or playing with your grandkids without even thinking about the morning's medication or the evening's aches. That's the freedom of healthy joints. According to the Arthritis Foundation, more than 58 million Americans live with arthritis, and it's especially common after age 55. But the culprit isn't just age. It's often a combination of inactivity, excess weight, and inflammatory diets. Thankfully, there's good news. Research from Johns Hopkins University shows that a diet rich in anti-inflammatory foods, such as fatty fish, leafy greens, berries, and nuts, paired with light resistance training can reduce joint pain by up to 30% in just 6 weeks. You don't need to run marathons, but your knees deserve daily movement they'll thank you for later. The most common mistake? Stopping movement because of pain. It becomes a vicious cycle. You stop walking to avoid pain, but the lack of movement dries out joint fluid, weakens supporting muscles, and actually makes the pain worse. Joints need movement, gentle, regular, and purposeful, to stay lubricated and flexible. Dr. Susan Mitchell, a geriatric specialist at Cleveland Clinic, once said, "Joints are like musical instruments. Leave them untouched, and they stiffen and go out of tune. But care for them daily, and they'll keep playing the song of your later years." You don't need a complicated workout. Just try. Swinging your arms and rolling your shoulders each morning. Sitting and standing from a chair 5 times without using your hands. Walking slowly around the house for 10 minutes after lunch. Eating a meal with fatty fish once a week. And avoiding refined sugar, the hidden saboteur of joint health. Remember, you always have a choice. You can take painkillers every day, or choose habits that may make them unnecessary. So what about you? What are you doing today to care for your joints? When was the last time you went for a walk without thinking about pain? Leave a comment below and share your joint care journey. Your story might be the spark of hope someone else needs to keep moving forward. And if this section gave you knowledge, encouragement, or even just a moment of hope, hit the like button. Share this with someone fighting joint pain, and subscribe to Golden Wise Elders, where every step we take together is one step stronger, lighter, and more free. Optimism and emotional resilience, the key to not just living long, but living lightly and peacefully. Let's talk about the sixth and perhaps most important strength of all, the one doctors can't prescribe, but without which everything else begins to fall apart. Your spirit. After losing his wife to cancer, 80-year-old Harold from Boise, Idaho, fell into a kind of silence words couldn't touch. They had been together for 55 years. When she passed, so did his desire to leave the house. His meals became just boiled eggs and toast. Each morning, he sat in stillness, not even turning on the TV. Then one day, his granddaughter gave him a smartphone with a note that said, "You can call me anytime, Grandpa, and I'll FaceTime you every Tuesday morning." The first time he called, his hands trembled. The second time, he laughed out loud. She had put on a silly mustache and glasses to surprise him. By the third week, he asked her how to download a drawing app. A month later, Harold began sketching portraits of his late wife, using old photos for reference. He posted his first drawing on Facebook and reconnected with friends from high school he hadn't spoken to in decades. You see, the spirit doesn't wither from age. It withers from not being seen, not being asked about, not having a reason to smile anymore. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, older adults who frequently feel lonely face a 26% higher risk of depression, memory decline, and premature death. But the flip side is just as powerful. Even a single positive emotional habit, like journaling, regular phone calls, or joining a community group, can significantly reduce that risk. The aging brain can still regenerate hope. It just needs to be nourished with love, connection, and the deep sense that we still matter. Dr. Laura Carstensen, director of the Stanford Center on Longevity, once said, "Older adults don't need much to be happy. They just need a reason to get up in the morning, a phone call, a laugh, a feeling that they're still part of the living world, not just watching it pass by." You don't have to wait for someone to save you from loneliness. You can start by calling an old friend, writing a letter to someone you care about, or simply asking a kind question to the next person you see. Start a gratitude journal tonight. Something simple like, today I walked in the garden. Today I remembered my neighbor's name. Tiny affirmations that remind your heart you're still here, and that matters. And if you're somewhere right now feeling quiet, wondering, do I still matter? Then hear this. You do, deeply. Your age is not a burden. It's your wisdom. Your wrinkles, they're the map of every road you've walked. And even in your slowest steps today, someone out there is waiting to hear the story you've lived. So now I ask you, what are you most grateful for today? What have you done recently to nourish your spirit? Leave a comment below, because your reflection, your voice, might be the light someone else is searching for in their darkest hour. And if you're sitting somewhere today, in a quiet moment, wondering, do I still matter? Then please, hear this. You do, deeply. Your age is a treasure of experience. Your wrinkles? They're not just lines, they are maps, tracing every road you've walked, every lesson you've learned, every love you've given. Even in your slower steps today, someone out there still needs the story you've lived. So let me ask you, what are you most grateful for today? What have you done recently to lift your own spirit, even in a small way? Share it in the comments, because your story might become the light someone else is searching for. Together, you and I have just walked through a 15-minute journey, not just to talk about health, but to remember something that's easy to forget in the rush of life. You are still capable. And more importantly, you are still incredibly important. The 6 traits we've uncovered together: a sharp mind, strong steps, quick reflexes, a resilient spine, flexible joints, and an optimistic heart. They're not reserved for the lucky few. They're the rewards of choosing to live intentionally, choosing to change, and choosing to love yourself at any age. You may have slowed down. You might be living alone. You may carry some worries or old aches in your heart, but that doesn't mean your journey is over. In fact, this chapter, the season of age and wisdom, may be the most meaningful part of all. The time to live truthfully, to do the things you never had time for, to share your wisdom, your kindness, your gratitude with the world. So don't let a number stop you. Let it mark the beginning of something new. A time to care for yourself with purpose, to connect more deeply with those you love, and to awaken each morning with presence and peace. And if you're still listening right now, I know one thing for sure. You are not alone. Somewhere out there, across this country, thousands, maybe millions of people just like you are trying to live healthier, happier, and more meaningful lives every single day. Let's build a community together. One where aging isn't something to be hidden or feared, but celebrated. Where we honor it with knowledge, compassion, and a deep desire to live beautifully. You can take the first step right now. Share this video with a loved one who could use a reminder that life still holds so much value. Tap the like button if this is something your heart needed to hear today. And tell us in the comments, which habit will you start with today? What are you most grateful for right now? And if you'd like to walk this journey with us, living longer, stronger, and without regret, subscribe and turn on notifications. Golden Wise Elders isn't just a channel. It's a home where growing older means growing richer, in spirit, in health, and in purpose. We'll see you in the next video, where we'll keep writing this incredible story of life, together one wiser, kinder step at a time.